Prime Time Replay from Money FM 89.3.
This is prime time, and this is the big question. Drones are the in thing these days. She1K is a corporate executive women's network that champions and funds startup. And I'm so excited to tell you that they've made their first investment in a smart drone company called Performance Motors. We are told that these small smart drones are the world's tiniest, and they can change the face of industries like oil and gas and mining and many more. So we're all about business and finance, bringing you the best business stories hot off the press. Christina Teo, I'm thrilled that you're here since you just signed the papers with Performance Motors. Christina Teo is founder of she1K. Tell us about the Performance Motors drones. What are these small smart drones primarily used for?
Well, it's not the drones that you just fly in the open field by yourself. So these are drones for industrial purposes, right? You are going to see a lot of industries. I mean, you can think about anything from aerospace to underground trains to the big maritime industry, from shipping, jetties, ports, whatever. Everybody is going to lean towards using drones because in a lot of these heavy industries, it is in fact very dangerous for people to do inspections. So you're talking about oil and gas storage tanks, for example. They are mostly inflammable, toxic. Even human beings can't really go in and do a good job on inspection, right? So with drones, you rule out completely this hazard for humans. And as well, and especially the built-in artificial intelligence, that's why it's not just the smallest drone, but it's the smallest smart drone in the world. And guess what? Designed and made in Singapore.
Wow.
I am so proud, right? So with this kind of drones, you can really go into very, very small, tiny spaces. So for example, to do crack detections, even, beer tanks, the beer that you drink. So you want to make sure that the tanks are safe. So these are the work of the drones that they go and do this inspection.
Okay, beyond that, what are some of the unexplored uses of drones right now? I mean, what doesn't the market seem to realize these machines can do?
I think more not just the hardware part of it, but really the software part of it. So that's why the smartness of it is so important, because the more we are able to develop the algorithms to be able to do more of these detections, then every work that needs to be done is going to be done cheaper and more effectively.
If you've just joined us, we are live on air and at the Singapore Book Fair, the largest book fair in Singapore on the calendar this year. Founder of she1K, they've just signed an investment to make sure that the company that's putting out these small, smart drones can continue to function and grow. Tell us, what is the size of the drone market right now compared to the drone market maybe a decade ago? Where do you see it headed in the mid to near term?
So according to a report by PwC, yes, there are many sectors where the drones services and applications are required. And they've come up with an estimate of $127 billion market. So I think it's only going to go bigger and bigger as they discover more opportunities and applications for these drones.
Okay, and what's investment-wise? How did you come to the conclusion to invest in drones? I mean, walk us through the thought process that you went through.
Right. So first of all, it's a service company. So we're not investing in a piece of gadget. So it's not just a gadget. The service revenue that you can get from having an intelligent device like this is what we're really after.
It's like having Ant-Man go into the nooks and crannies that human beings shouldn't be venturing into.
Exactly.
So it's going to be big for industries
Right.
and also good for people in terms of managing safety in certain industries.
But from an investment point of view, right? So when we look at it from an investment point of view, currently all these heavy industries, they need to put up huge structures to do all these inspection.
Wow.
So it's not just human beings, it's
This is
erecting
cost savings as
scaffolding
well.
and so forth. Significant cost saving.
You've mentioned to me you can't share the figures for the investment with Performance Motors, but can you tell us what sort of returns you are expecting?
Oh, so I think that this is a company that is very, very well foundationed, right? They right now have a team of 12 people who are highly qualified. And the important thing is the pipeline. So we look at the pipeline because they have signed big contracts with inspection companies. For example, they have big clients like even Asia Pacific Brewery is their client. And they're part of a maritime accelerator called Port Excel, which I was involved in. And then we have opened a lot of doors for them with big maritime companies. So I think it's with these pipeline that we have in mind. So I'm very confident, right? We're talking about many, many X's.
Okay. One of the problems that with the drone market is the proliferation of manufacturers. I mean, with so much of competition, what's the way forward for performance motos?
Performance rotos, because their business model is slightly different, yeah? They're not really selling the drones. They're not selling the devices. And in fact, all these drone solutions that they propose to each of these big companies, they need to customize. So it's not one size fits all. Right? So depending on the environment, depending on what you're trying to measure or inspect, they actually need to customize the solution for you. Hence, I wouldn't say, the impact on so-called manufacturing. Plus, right now, right in Singapore, there is already many technology partners that they can work with. In fact, I was just in their office and they were talking about working with another Singapore startup on some microwave technology that they can incorporate in their drones.
Okay.
So I think Singapore presents a really good hub. And plus, all the investors that are in there, it's not just us alone at she1K. They have strategic investors who can also open more doors for technology partners to work with them. I love the business model because it's not about just them doing the service by themselves. They actually can work with many other different partners to deliver the solution to any of these clients.
Okay, so with diversified supply chains,
Yes.
help us understand a little bit of how these rotors are going to be put together and whether or not the Sino-US trade tensions are going to impact the manufacturer in any way.
I think currently, even the market size in Singapore alone for them is huge. Right? So, for example, without mentioning names, there's a big oil and gas company that they're working with. And if they get a contract with them and go globally with this company, I think the impact is going to be amazing. So I don't think it has the same kind of correlation, right? So the Sino-US doesn't have an impact on this kind of services.
Okay. Well, another area of concern a lot of people have been talking about is that a lot of countries are now really placing tighter restrictions on drones. I mean, do any of these concern you? I mean, what is the potential impact on businesses in general?
So that's the great thing. In fact, initially, performance rotos started as more an outdoor type of building facade inspection. So it was later on in the recent months that they got into what we call confined space inspection. So when it's confined space inspection, you don't have the same kind of regulation and concerns. And really, you're servicing a particular client. You're going to the on-site of a client's premise. Hence, we really don't have those regulatory issues.
So this sounds like a B2B thing.
Yes.
The drones are not for sale, even though I've seen a picture of you with the drone. They're not for retail sale, right?
Yes, it's not. I wish I could take it home and play as a toy, but this is not meant for that. And that's the other thing we love at she1K, right? Because we are a corporate executive women network, and we do have some corporate executive men as part of our network as well. We've extended some generosity to them. And so we kind of prefer B2B startups. So we're not against B2C, but I think B2B has a very healthy kind of a pipeline.
Yes, you mentioned she1K, and
Yes.
you're the driving force behind this investment, she1K. Tell me what's next for this corporate executive women's network.
In fact, right after this,
Yeah.
I'm actually going to a private pitch session. So every 2 months, we organize 2 private pitch sessions, right? Where we invite 10 startups to pitch to our members. And then we filter to 2 to invest. So Performance Rotor was in round 1, and they got selected. And today, we signed it.
I love a happy ending to
Yes.
a great story.
Yes.
Hey, Christina, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me again, Michelle.
Real thrill. Christina Teo is founder of she1K, the corporate executive female network that champions and funds startups. And they have just invested in the world's smallest smart drone making company, Performance Rotors.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at moneyfm893.sg or download the SPH radio app available on Google Play or the App Store.